Everybody can stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence in respect to the men and women who serve us proudly around the country, overseas. Thank you. Be seated.
Marty, how you doing?
So welcome tonight. This will be the apparent final meeting of the Charter Commission. After tonight, we will have discharged our duties and have completed our efforts. We have three things to do tonight. We need to vote to approve the minutes of the August 23rd meeting, make those formal. We have a letter from the state that everybody should have in their package, and you have the draft package, which we're here to vote on tonight, simply to change the word from draft to final. And if anybody has any changes or comments to any part of this, tonight will be the opportunity to make them here as part of a commission meeting. So, I'd like a motion to approve the minutes for 8/23, please. Motion.
I'll second it.
Motion's made and seconded. All those in favor of approving, well, is there any discussion? All those in favor of approving the minutes of 8/23 signify their vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I
Abstained?
abstained. I don't think I was
Yeah,
here.
we were here for that one.
You were? I don't think I was.
That's the meeting that was in the
The
school
school
district.
board.
Oh, we were
Oh,
not
yeah,
here for that
I
one.
was not
Oh,
there.
we'll both abstain, or all abstain. You can abstain.
So
on
it's
your
You did read the minutes.
own. Yeah, where did we go?
two abstentions.
At the US
At
Open.
New York, okay. Yeah.
Okay. So, the much-awaited letter from the state arrived today. The salient problem with it before was a typo in which the second paragraph, instead of ended with existing town charter, ended with existing school district charter. You can tell what's on their mind a lot lately. So we worked with the state to get that changed, and we got the signed copy of that letter today. The town staff has been pushing to get that since we first noted it on the 30th of September. So everybody has a copy according to the state, and I'll just read it. Dear Ms. Seymour, that's because all this flows through the town clerk. Pursuant to RSA 49-B:5-A, you have submitted proposed charter amendments on behalf of the town of Londonderry for review. Upon review, the New Hampshire Department of Justice, the Secretary of State's Office, and the Department of Revenue Administration, pursuant to RSA 49-B:5-A, do not object to the proposed amendment to the existing town charter. Please feel free to contact Senior Assistant Attorney General Glenn Perlow of the Attorney General's Office, Barbara Robinson of the Department of Revenue Administration, or David M. Scanlon of the Secretary of State's Office if you have any questions. Sincerely yours, and then the three of those individuals have signed the letter. That concludes that part of our business, long awaited, getting a letter that approved the changes that were recommended in our draft report. So now to the report. Everybody has a copy of the draft. We circulated this in the past via email. It's been available on the town website. I guess sporadically it's dropped off there a couple times. Various updates. Sometimes this isn't getting picked up for some reason. They continue to work that. Do we have any changes and or comments to the final report, to the draft, before we vote it as final?
You know, I wasn't too impressed with the minority report, but that's all right. There was no meat, no substance, no gain attention.
Could you repeat that again?
I said I wasn't too impressed with the minority report, but, you know, it
What
wasn't.
about what was the second statement?
Oh, there was no meat, no substance, no get up and caught me by the eye. It made me grasp on it, why I would have any issue, you know what I mean, with, on the minority report. I mean, it pretty
Didn't
much,
do
if you,
anything
if
for
you
me in
read,
the majority report.
yeah, if you read it, it's,
Thank you.
Well, I'm glad then that I didn't write it for you.
you didn't write it?
I know.
That's why I could say that.
So we should smack Al's majority report.
I think there were things in the minority report that we probably should discuss. Why so much focus was on the quorum. When we weren't allowed to discuss it.
The only comment I'd like to make on the minority report is, in the future, if we were to reopen the charter again, it was very difficult to address the issues of this meeting in 1,000 words. I think that when the three of us worked on it, we had something that was very comfortable at 2,000 words. But having to then pare that down to 1,000 words, it lost a lot of its context.
I think you were unlimited in the majority, correct?
Yes.
We were restricted to 1,000 words.
Well, if you had taken out the quorum stuff, it probably could have gotten it down to that.
If you want to go to the quorum stuff,
Look, wait, we can't, excuse me?
Oh, that's right,
Mr.
we're-
Chairman, we cannot discuss the quorum in this meeting.
There was a
You guys
motion made.
outlawed that.
We
Ah,
took
that's
a
it.
vote
Sorry?
to restrict consideration on further
or any
discussions.
discussion.
Yep.
And on any further discussions about the quorum. So the
Oh, yeah.
topic of the quorum is technically from that off the table.
Okay, I would like to make a motion here that we re-look at, not to bring it
Oh,
back open,
I'm
I'm
sorry.
saying, because we're talking the minority report on what's in the minority report. Right. If that's the case, then that should be restricted from the minority report.
Because it was written after we
It was
already
written
talked
after our
about that.
vote. That's the case.
That's the
That
point.
was Chris's point. If we restricted discussion of it, why is it in the minority report? It shouldn't be
You
there.
know, I'm going to say this. This is a joke. This is turning into a joke.
So let's stop, pause, reflect on the comments that were made and be reasonable in their approach to what we do here, right?
It was a minority report. We have a right to discuss what was discussed. It was on the, it was part of the discussion. The minority disagreed with the quorum. What you're saying is we're restricted in the minority to only say what you want. So why even bother having a minority report then?
So part of this is to talk about this, right? It's been raised. We're venturing on into more discussion about it.
Why don't we just make a motion to cut the minority report because,
Because we can't,
Because-
because we're not allowed to do that.
well, no, I think that's what
So,
the whole token
no,
is
if
here,
you
is
would-
to say the minority report is a joke, and
If
we
you
don't
would
want it accepted, and let's just can the minority report at all, because the minority doesn't have any say.
If-
So,
if you would
that's what they
wait.
want, let's give it to them.
If you would wait a
I
moment.
wouldn't say it's a joke.
You already
Well,
did.
hey.
No, I didn't say it was a joke, I just said there was no meat, no substance.
Could you tell us what he said?
No meat, no substance, there was,
That's what I have in there, as meat, as no meat and no substance to it.
that's what I stated, in my opinion, on the way, not to get nothing personal, it's just,
Mr. Chairman,
that was my,
Yes,
yeah.
Mark?
please, can we get back to the subject of approving or disapproving this? Because we've already submitted it. We didn't sit around and debate whether we
We're all-
agreed or disagreed with portions of the majority report. We didn't debate them. We didn't go after them. We submitted what we thought to be our opinions of why we were against it, period.
So,
Okay?
I understand that.
The minority had a right to write what they wrote. We submitted it, okay? It's in the report. Now, if you're going to tell me that the minority report can be changed because the majority sees fit, because they don't like something in it, then this whole thing is a sham.
so I have
The
to tell you. all right,
minority report is the minority report, period.
Hold on, Marty. All right, like I said, let's pause, let the air out of this a little bit, and reflect on what this is supposed to be from a reasonable point of view, all right? It's one of the things I have to do as the chair, all right? Discussions on the quorum are off the table. We are not here tonight to discuss the quorum, okay? The minority report itself, when we ask Dave for guidance on the minority report, it's 1,000 words. They can say blah, blah, blah 1,000 times if they want to. They can say whatever they want in the minority report. It is their report, right? They voted against the motion to approve going forward with the recommendation, but they didn't vote on the actual content of the report. The majority voted on the content of the report. Right? So there's no real reason for us to have a debate on the content of the minority report. We all, after the fact of our, like, as soon as we adjourn tonight, we can comment to whoever we want to, about whatever we want to, about this entire process. Because after tonight, it's no longer Charter Commission members commenting, it's people who served on the Charter Commission, released from their duties, now talking about what they think. So, Al made some comments, it's a personal point of view, nothing to do with the commission's business. There won't be changes to the minority report unless the minority wishes to make them. So my question really is not for the majority, it's for the minority. Do you have any changes of substance that you feel are necessary to make to the minority report? Steve, I do understand the restriction of 1,000 words. We didn't set that.
And my recommendation was that if the Charter Commission is open in the future, they may want to consider 2,000 words.
Where did that come from, 1,000 years?
It
Was
came
it-
from
was it RSA?
a unanimous decision of the last Charter Commission.
But I think it came
So
from
is
some
it- is it in the
recommendation.
document?
No, it was right when we got that information,
Right,
when
it
we
was
first
in the
started in
book,
Charter
but I
Commission.
think it was outlined. So I don't know
Yes.
if it's outlined in our charter. I can't remember if
It's
it's in
not
our
in our
charter or
I
it's
think it might be an RSA, right?
in RSA.
That's
It's
right.
one- so-
It's, yeah.
It was in the book, so.
And if it's an RSA, then we can't change it. But if there is a possibility in the future
He can
to
change it.
allow the minority, right, Al could change it, but to let a minority have more than 1,000 words, it would have been appreciated because, I mean,
200 more, right?
we didn't have, it was very difficult to
Yeah.
start cutting at the end. I
And
mean,
and
90%
looking at
of
your
our
report-
points were all gone because we couldn't,
Looking at your report and looking at it tonight, before coming to the meeting, I looked at it one more time, and I was like, looking at it, and I'm like, this is a result of cut and paste. You had to decide what to cut,
get what to cut and what to keep.
Yep.
so. Am I to understand that you have no further changes? Okay.
We could have more words.
My only issue with bringing it up is, we never had a chance to comment on it. I mean, it came
I
in
understand,
after the
Chris.
fact.
I understand, Chris, but the rules on the minority report are that
That's
it is the minority
fine,
report.
I just wanted to make a comment on the fact that, this
You-
stuff in
you
it that
have-
really
you
doesn't need
have
to be in
ample
there.
Why would you have a minority
opportunity.
report? If,
we have
what,
no-
you have no say, the majority, why would, does the, I mean, you
The
have a
minority,
minority
the
report
minority had
and
a
a
say on the
majority report.
draft that we sent up
I
to
mean,
the
that's
state.
ridiculous.
We
thing.
discussed that.
Should have changed the majority report, even though I
Brian,
mean,
did we not discuss the draft
Yeah.
before it went up to the state?
I'm sorry not everybody is well-educated and versed on all the rules and laws of boards, and I think that was an innocent, honest question. Just trying to
It is.
understand and follow what's going on. Not all of us sitting up here have sat years and years and years on boards and committees and learning
That's-
all these things.
That's okay, too.
And I think that, if you want people to continue to serve on these things, new people, you can't
So
attack them for questioning or answering, whether
So
the
that's
question is
why-
good, bad, or indifferent.
that's why I said, let's step back a minute, right? And I think we've done that. Do you not understand why we're not allowed to touch the minority report?
I do now.
Okay, so
The
you
question
do
in our
understand why we
minds-
can't touch
The
it?
question in our minds was thinking that the quorum thing was for everything. And so therefore, it couldn't apply to both. Now, not knowing all the rules and regs, it probably made it sound stupid or unintelligent to you
No,
all, but
it
to us,
doesn't.
it was like, oh, I thought we couldn't talk about that, so therefore we thought it applied
It,
across the board.
it doesn't. It's actually it's a good comment to bring forward, right? It's a good comment to discuss. We've had the discussion.
Yeah,
There's nothing to be said about the content of the report
right.
that we say here or act on as a charter commission. It's the report. They provide a minority report. They are restricted to 1,000 words. They choose the words. They could have talked in the entire report only about the quorum. They could have talked about anything they wanted to.
I understand that
So-
now, but at the beginning of this
Yeah.
meeting, that was kind of blurry and unclear.
Yeah, if I may, I mean, the minority report is theirs, and of course, we don't use any type of Roberts rules or Mason rules under this here. Normally, if it was restricted under the quorum and there was no more conversation on it, then, of course, we didn't get a chance to see the minority report because there was a deadline. We all asked to have it sent to us, and I think that's why some of us were a little excited over it, why we never ever seen it until maybe, I think when I went up to the town hall, there was some emails going back and forth on it.
It was
And
submitted
that's
on
why,
time.
because, and the question why on the quorum, because maybe we might have, maybe put in something in there on a rebuttal on, especially on one line there. And I don't know how to put it,
Al, you couldn't have put in a rebuttal
Yeah,
because.
no,
it-
but
there
I'm
was
saying
a
we
date
coulda-
That it was due by, and it was
if I
set
may.
on that time.
Not that we put a rebuttal, let me rephrase that we could have added something in here, on here, concerning that quorum, which we didn't, on the majority report. So I wanted to make sure that the straight truth is going out there on the quorum, because since we're not gonna discuss it, there's only part of the correct answer that's in
So
here.
I think
And
that,
that should have been discussed
That's
with the
what I'm saying.
majority.
We
well,
never could,
no,
because we
Al
never
brings
seen
up,
it.
Al brings up a very valid point, very similar to the point that you bring up about the word restriction. You're limited to 1,000 words.
Right.
Right?
So,
Nobody on the commission saw the final report until after it was submitted, well past the time we asked for it, so that it could be incorporated into one volume as a final. The commission asked to see that report.
well, I know,
The commission didn't see the report.
We didn't finish it until probably 2 hours, Marty, 2 hours before the deadline.
We're having problems because of exactly what you said. It was a lot of cut and paste, and the thing
Yeah.
is, we tried to do is avoid repeating a lot of what you had already put into the report that
Yeah.
was, we didn't disagree with, it was factual.
Yeah.
And we tried to go about trying to take 3 opinions and put it into one, because we had all commented on many different areas, okay, in different ways, okay? And so we all also backed away from some of the things we personally
Yeah.
would have said
So-
to
so
allow
I
somebody
think that-
else's opinion to be heard.
So I think
So-
that what you see here is, the minority was off-put by a word count restriction, and the other members of the commission were off-put by not seeing what went into the report.
But there's another thing here, is if we submitted our minority report,
what gives
and
you
you
the
saw
right
it,
to
and you
change
decided
it?
to add something
No,
to yours.
Nobody's
not to
saying a
change.
word about changing it.
And no, I'm just saying, you would have had the opportunity to put more into your
Then what are you
report
having
if
a
you
problem
wanted to
with it?
comment about
Why
our
would we
report.
want
But then we would have been restricted, we couldn't say anything more.
Right.
So, I mean, it would have become a ridiculous debate on paper of trying to say, top what the other person said.
Yes.
The minority report is the minority report, that's what we said. We're sorry you guys didn't get to see it, but I don't think that there would have been any, it would have been correct for you to then comment on our report after we issued it either.
Right, I agree with
Because
Marty.
we would not have had the opportunity to do the same.
I thought everybody had this opportunity to comment on the draft.
On the draft, yes, but not if you added additional stuff after we gave you our report.
And we weren't really supposed to comment on the majority report because we weren't in the majority party. It was written by, that is what a majority and a minority
I thought.
report is, just like in the Supreme Court. The voters you have to give the reason why you went your decision. That is what a minority and majority report is. It's why you voted the way you did on the particular outcome of the case. It doesn't so if a Supreme Court justice votes in the majority, they don't write the minority. They write the majority report
I
and
think
give the
that's
reason.
pretty obvious.
Right, and that's what we're doing here, and that's why it is the report of the minority. It is not the report of the majority.
I agree.
And so technically,
We understand that.
this is our opinion as to why, in 1,000 words, why we voted the way we did. Right or wrong. And that is a reason why you guys voted the way you did, right or wrong. That's what the majority and the minority reports are. They're just the reasons why these people voted the way they did. In the entire case process.
You see, if I may, what we're missing, and it's over and done with, and I respect the wishes of the minority report, what we're missing here, and that's why, and I want to try to explain this a little better so it's understood. The majority report really isn't a majority report. The majority report is a combined, everything from the meetings, the minutes, you know, there's no breakdown of, like, I mean, it talks about our votes and stuff like that, and I'm gonna try without talking quorum. I'm gonna try to use a section, and we could have called a meeting back and explained to the minority there that, well, no, there was a vote on something, and we voted no against it, and then we came back again and voted to not reconsider it. So in other words, instead of putting the whole truth in the minority report, if I was the chairman, and of course you're a busy man, you didn't see it at the last minute, then I would have called them in, I'm talking as a legislator, and said, hey, listen, there's some not truths in here, there's another part to that. Do you see what I'm saying? As the chairman's responsibility, but you weren't there. This is why none of us got a chance to see it until it was already over. I mean, the damage is already done. It went out without us seeing it. But we could have critiqued and said, hey, listen, why did this here when there's some issues there with the minority
What
report?
damage has been done? Al,
No,
please
what I'm
explain
saying
that.
is, no, I'm not saying nothing against on what you wrote.
No, I'm saying what damage is done. It's the majority report. We had till whatever the date was at 5 o'clock.
But what I'm
We
saying
had
is-
that right as the minority to submit
I think we
that.
sent it in at about 3. We sent it to Brian.
Right.
And we sent
Nobody's
it
saying that.
To Meg.
to Meg.
What I'm trying to say is, we, the committee, never, ever got a chance to look at it before it was sent out. That's what I'm trying to say.
But we got,
It's over and done with.
Al, we got the majority report. You guys happened to finish faster than we did. It was sent to all of us via Brian.
I understand.
I was not gonna comment on it because it's not my report to comment on.
So I think that what Al is really kind of saying
lessons learned.
is that there are, and we talked about lessons learned with the word count, right? There are statements in the minority report that can be taken as misrepresenting what happened.
And conflicted.
And that's the
can say the
minority
same
report.
thing about the
That's-
majority
That's the view of the minority,
Right.
right?
I mean, if
We can all and will probably all be representing ourselves going forward with what we think about the whole thing.
it's a sad part of it.
You know, that's the next stage of this, is that, you know, if we vote to send this forward as the final, the Charter Commission has finished its work. And then we have ample opportunity to talk about the process, the reports, everything else that there is in here.
So Brian, what do you need from us? Just a motion to accept and close the charter and move it to ballot, or what is needed
Yeah,
here?
just accept this fine.
Yeah, the only thing that we have a vote for tonight is if there are no additional comments, if no one has found anything of substance that they think needs to change, then we need a motion to move this forward as the final report. Then all I do is I change the title on it from draft to final and send it back to Meg tomorrow morning.
Well, as a member of the minority, I am fine with
Brian, I just wanted, just for the record, one last thing on this here. If you take a look at the front page, my name is on this report. That means my name was on when this went out, that I viewed this whole report. It has nothing to do with how they did it or anything. This has to be very important for future charters, the lessons learned, that if my name is on something, it's going out saying each and every one of us viewed this whole report, and it wasn't that. We voted on a report to go out. And that's why I'm saying for future charters, it's already over and done with. But for the future charters or anyone down the road, that before anything that goes out of the town, and if our names are on it, we should know that we viewed that whole report before it left, minority and majority.
Yep.
Because our names are on it. That was my only complaint, or misunderstanding. Not really, I'm not losing sleep over it. It's just, I felt I should have read the whole thing before it left.
Well, can an addendum be put on here or anything that says that we never had a chance to look at this or discuss it before it went?
If the majority of the people here approve an addendum to the report, an addendum can be added. However, keep in mind that seeing the minority report is inconsequential to the role that you took as a majority member. We have nothing to do with what goes into the minority report. So, you know, what I hear is two sides trying to make hay about the same argument, right? And
No,
this isn't the
what
place for
Al's
it.
saying is that he doesn't want to put his name on something that he.
I think Al's making the point that
Future.
in the future, you know, there's been a request for, and a good point, I think a very valid point about the word limitation. Now, if that RSA limitation is fixed, you know, if it's fixed by RSAs and it's 1,000 or if it's derived from some other thing and it's 1,000, then somebody ought to look at that, right? And a future charter commission could decide to try to look at that and see if there ever is a future charter commission, and see if there's a way to grant that a minority report could be longer, right? By the same token, I think it also demonstrates something on the side of the majority, that the minority shares the report with them in time for it to be seen. Now, we were all working on a timeline. We knew that timeline months ago, right? We knew that timeline from before this even started. So it would have been worthwhile. It would have been nice. It would have been collaborative, gracious, whatever, to consider giving the minority report to the majority so that they can look at it. Because their name does go on the package, and it is supposed to be something that's discussed. We don't change anything. We can't change it. We're not entitled to change anything. But the forewarn or forenotice or whatever you want to call it about the content is something that should be respected. And I think that's the point Al's really trying to make. At least that's what it sounds like.
That's basically what it is for future use, that's all. It's out of respect for each committee member, and when it's really, the minority report is basically just a blurb anyways, on why you disagree with the actual decision of the thing. But I mean, without that, I don't agree with any addendum or anything like that, because the damage is already done. We didn't view it. It's already gone. Rather than start the ball rolling, I would think an addendum would cause it to go back again for any other type of viewing or anything like that. So I would like to make a motion that we approve as written, because the voters, the ones that look this up, how many of you are going to read this? They're going to go to the polls and vote yes or no on the actual wording on the SB2, because this whole thing don't go on the ballot. So I make a motion that we approve as written.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Do I have any discussion on the motion? So, all those in favor of forwarding our final report as written to the state through the town clerk's office signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So is there any other business of the Charter Commission?
No, it's great when we can agree to
Actually, the
disagree.
motion
and
probably
still-
be dissolved, right?
When we adjourn, it's the same thing.
All right, I'll second Marty's motion.
We have a motion on the floor to adjourn, and you want to discuss the motion?
No, that's good.
Can we do a motion to reconsider to get her to vote? No. I mean, that's.
So we
that'd be a
voted to
proper vote.
move the report through to the state as final. In your packet, you have a copy of it labeled draft. The only change will be that it will be labeled final. You have a copy of the letter from the state approving the language, right? The proposed amendment to the charter. You can have, if you want, a copy of the typo where they approved it as a school district charter.
No, it's all right. I'm
With,
good.
Now, the
With-
vote
with-
to go to the state is 8-0.
No, is there eight of us here?
I would reconsider.
And when we finish, it's up to you, we'd have to go through everything again, because she would have to participate, I think.
It's all right.
Oh, no, you don't want to say, all right, you weren't here.
No, I mean, it can stand at 8-0. And I'm late, so.
I think, yeah, but then the motion to adjourn, of course, will be 9-0.
You only have to go through everything.
Maybe
unless you-
9-0. Maybe some people want to stay.
Okay.
So I don't think we have to go back through the whole discussion we had.
Just note that Chris arrived here at 7:35.
Are you comfortable with
Yeah,
this report as
I
written?
am.
So,
Do I have a motion to a withdrawal of the motion?
Yeah, well, no, that's not the proper, the
Right.
one, motion to,
Adjourn, we have to take,
reconsider.
we have to take the adjournment.
Reconsider
table that for a
adjourn.
second.
oh, no, you never got a second.
Yeah.
Oh, he did.
We did
Marty
in a
made the
second.
motion and Al seconded.
Oh, so you guys
Or
got
was
to,
it
you guys
one
have
way
to
or
pull
the other?
that.
You have to pull my second line.
Yeah.
I'll pull mine as well.
Okay.
Motion to,
Motion.
a motion to reconsider on the vote that we just took on sending this to the state. I mean, no, I'm sorry, to approve this final approval.
This just makes it a 9-0 vote.
Yeah, motion to reconsider on the final approval vote we just had.
Have a second on a motion to reconsider the,
I will second that.
okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Now, a motion to pass,
It passes well, we just took the vote on it.
right, no, that's the
Now,
recon.
Oh, you took
now
the
you're
vote on
making a
Right,
motion.
so now I'm gonna,
Now
so,
we're
so we don't have to
re-motioning.
discuss
So now
it.
make- We
So
just
it could
took the
be a
motion to
9-0 vote.
reconsider.
To
And you don't.
send it to the
Now I'm gonna
state,
make
so
the
it could be a
motion that-
Need the
9-0.
motion to send it to the
I'm gonna
state.
redo the motion now that we approve it.
And I'll second it.
All right.
So consideration, so that she can discuss it if she wishes or ask questions.
So
if
you've
she
made the
wishes.
motion?
Right,
Yes.
And
now
you've
it's,
I'm
seconded?
confused. Can you?
Okay.
Yeah,
What did
no,
we
it's
just?
important.
The first,
No,
the
it's
first
important.
motion that Al made,
Right,
after Chris walked into the room, was to reconsider our vote.
okay.
That
Well,
motion passed.
The first thing he did,
Was
I'm sorry,
withdraw the
Brian.
adjournment.
We withdrew the adjournment.
He
Right.
withdrew the adjournment.
And then we
right?
withdrew
We
the,
reconsidered, our motion to reconsider the vote, which passed, and now we are revoting.
and we are voting on,
Revote though, correct?
They just made the motion to
All right.
revote.
so now make
And
the
second.
motion on sending the state and second it, and
seconded
then
it?
we can have discussion.
Marty.
Okay.
All right.
If she, just make a motion now to send it,
I did, I already made the motion to,
I already
Marty
seconded it.
seconded.
and now we're open for discussion again.
We have any discussion?
Nope.
It's a Chris's floor to discuss if she's.
No,
gonna-
I mean, the report is unchanged from the last meeting, so I'm good with it. I don't have anything to discuss.
Okay?
Okay.
So, all in favor of forwarding this as the final report to the state via the town clerk's office signify their approval by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
That's better, 9-0.
Motion to restrict reconsideration.
Now, Al, you can make the adjournment.
I just think it's only proper, because her name is on here and they're on line for the final vote.
I think we all agree.
Yeah, Marty, make your motion to adjourn.
Please.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll say.
Thank you.
All right, I'd like to discuss that motion.
You can do it by yourself.
You have
Just
to
as
pass the gavel if you want to talk it over.
Just as a reminder, this is the final meeting of the Charter Commission. Adjourning this meeting discharges us from our duties as commissioners, and we've completed the purpose for which we were elected to serve. And I want to say thank you to everybody.
I apologize, I was late tonight.
Okay.
That's okay.
No, we didn't vote. You have to vote.
All those in favor of adjourning signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Abstentions? Nays?
Kathy?
What?
Motion's approved, 9-0.
We're
Thank
just,
you, Brian.
Smack you.
we are just out.
My only issue with that